Hey, so in this second week of September in 2025, the news in the United States is scary. They are escalating fear and anger a lot, and it is scaring many of us. And this is just your reminder to breathe. Think about the people you have in real life that you care about. Maybe connect with some friends, go outside, just do the touch and grass thing, take a walk, enjoy the sun, breathe in some fresh air, go to a park if you have one nearby, or you could even look up cute animals or something right now. Personally, I'm really enjoying the clips of the rescue dogs that do the agility rounds, the agility competitions. I'll probably insert one. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Some of them just get so excited. They just start zooming all around. They just get the zoomies, and it's adorable and wonderful and puts a giant smile on my face. So whatever you can do to start to reconnect with some sense of humanity and safety and joy or calm and or calming, right? Whatever you can do, okay? I got my crochet sitting next to me. I've been doing lots of that. But I also want to remind everybody that this is a really big thing on my mind, is how potentially re-traumatizing social media can be, not just for social media posts, but for like the ads you see, right? With advertising being crafted toward our interests, we end up sometimes getting ads. We're going for comfort and relaxation, and you actually get hit with something that reminds you of a very traumatic event that was really awful, right? So, like, for example, lately I've been really getting into the YouTube channel Dropout and really enjoying their shows. But since I don't have YouTube Premium, I still get ads. And sometimes I'm going there for a relaxing, like fun, engaging show. And what I get hit with is like the Sandy Hook Promise commercials over and over again. And I have to mute it. I have to not look at it, because if I give too much time and attention to thinking about how the death of so many elementary school children did not stop the cyclical dehumanizing rhetoric around gun violence or gun control, like, it's just become such a cycle that I'm so tired of, and I hate it, and it is a very serious thing. But at the same time, if I'm going to try to relax or find some sense of calm, I don't necessarily want to be hit with a commercial that reminds me of the trauma that I'm actually currently trying to reclaim a sense of safety away from, right? I think it's part of building that resiliency. I think that's why taking a break from social media is important, not just to get away from the rhetoric, not just to get away from the posts and the response videos to other posts and all of this and the us versus them of it all. Not just for that. It's also useful to get away from the ads that we get fed, right? We see horrible things all the time online without a second glance, right? And nowadays, we don't even know if the images we're seeing are real or not. So this is just a reminder that it is okay to be emotionally overwhelmed. It is okay to be apathetic, because you might just be way past your emotional capacity to handle these things. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to be fearful. It is okay to not have an opinion. These things are all okay. All right. It's the feelings you're having or not having are totally valid. What you do have control over, though, is what you do with those feelings, right? And how we behave with those feelings. I want to encourage people to hopefully not escalate the rhetoric. It's very hard not to. It's hard not to get caught into this cycle of commenting and posting and reposting and constantly talking about who's to blame and that kind of stuff. And it's natural to feel like you want someone to blame. It's okay. It's valid to feel like you want there to be a cause or a reason or someone to blame. But the truth is, we can also reject that initial impulse to immediately place blame, right? And to try to regain a sense of calm to some extent, right? And to try to remind our brain that despite the horrific events at this moment in time, since you're sitting somewhere or standing somewhere and you're watching a video right now, if you're watching this video, you at this moment in time are safe, very likely, and take a breath and just remind yourself, remind that amygdala part of your brain, remind that survival mode part, those parts of your brain, that we don't actually have to engage in survival mode all the time. We really don't. As much as, excuse me, as much as the rhetoric and the news cycle encourage us to. We don't have to. We can de-escalate that stress within our own body, right? So take a break, engage in something that's fun or calming. Just sit outside and take a breath. Even if, and listen, I've been there, been depressed, been dissociated. You feel like I'm going to be numb outside. I'm going to be numb inside. Doesn't matter where I am. But it might actually still help just in terms of keeping away from images and videos and ads and being fed this stuff so much, right? Just unplugging for a bit can still definitely help with that kind of bombardment, right? So even if the internet is your calming place to go to, this is, I guess, a reminder to try to find something that could be an alternative, even if it's just for 5 minutes, you know, just some sort of alternative to being online, because we are not really in control of what we see or don't see, unfortunately. We can mute things, we can look away from the screen, but sometimes we still see things, see images, and suddenly get fed something that reminds us of how much fear some of us might be feeling. And it's a completely valid fear, right? But we don't have to completely give in to it at the same time. So take a breath, pet something soft, squeeze it, give yourself a hug. Ask for a hug if you're near someone who can give you one. Pull out your weighted blanket if you have one, if that's comforting to you. Or if you just feel too agitated and too anxious, take a brisk walk or do some jumping jacks or, burn off that energy somehow, right? So you could either burn off the energy if you're really anxious and that like fearful anxiety spiral, like you're just too fidgety, too agitated. Your body you cannot be still at all, even with your calming fidgets. It's not working. You want more. Go ahead and burn off some energy, right? Do some intense exercise. Take a quick sprint down the block, and if you're working, take like a 5-minute break and go outside and just run for a second and come back in, and just burn off that energy. There is that whole, you could splash cold water on your face, and it does shock your brain a little bit, but you want to follow that up with something to help keep encouraging your brain that you're not currently under threat right now at this moment in time, or that even if there is a threat, you don't have to completely give into fight, flight, or freeze response, right? You can redirect your body toward more rest and digest type state is the idea. So there's mindfulness. There's the whole focusing also, consciously focusing on the 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear. I think I always get it wrong, but you know what I mean, that whole thing. You can definitely do that. And I have another video on like regulation that could help, and a podcast episode also with some regulation tips that can help. They do overlap a bit, which I can link. And if you're watching this on a social media thing, just look for the links in the description. I don't necessarily put link in bio because I have a lot of different videos out there. So, yeah, but this is just to remind everybody I just want to remind people that there are a lot of different reasons why the media these days wants to encourage us. They want to escalate this fear, right? And or anger. It can be for political means. It can also be for ratings, for clicks, right? For engagement, so that advertisers give them more money. That's true also of influencers. You know, there can be a lot of reasons why people are doing this. Some people might not even be as upset as they seem online. They're just doing it for the clicks. That's very possible too, especially people who are angry and who are, you know, like really, I guess the slang is crashing out or something over things, right? Some of those people, you know, you don't know them, right? They could have been a former theater kid who's really good at doing crashing outs on cue, and then like they're doing it to drive like the rage bait and the clicks and the viral moments and things. So you never know. And just because you're being fed that stuff because it's popular right now for people to see and to click on, and it's the rhetoric that it's the machine, right? It's the propaganda machine that's churning yet again. And we've seen this so many times. I just want to encourage people to not engage. You can just not engage. It's okay. It's okay to not engage. You don't have to have an opinion. And if you do have an opinion, you don't actually have to share it. That could just be your opinion. You don't have to share it with your colleagues. You don't have to share it with your friends. If you are confused and feeling a giant mix of emotions, that's fine. And that is a valid, if you do want to share anything, you can just share that. Be like, I feel so many things right now, I can't put it into words. That's okay. That's okay. And actually, I think it's better in certain ways to just, you don't have to jump to a conclusion. You can just sit in the uncertainty and the discomfort for a little bit, right? It's okay to feel that way. And quite frankly, grief is that way. Grief is uncomfortable and inconsistent and a mix of emotions and confusing, right? So is fear. So is anger. So is feeling like you're targeted, right? Being part of a targeted group can bring up all kinds of emotions. So it's okay. But the answer to that is just try to make sure your body stays calm so you have access to your higher reasoning centers. And it also helps your brain to just kind of churn away so that you can settle in on some kind of where you're at with this, right? If we give in to just the anxiety and the stress and the fear, we don't land at a conclusion that's a really, like, one that helps us to move forward from this, you know, and helps us to see something different from it. So this is just a general, like, this is just my trauma-informed general PSA of reminding you guys, reminding people out there, unplug. I had to do it last night. I'm going to have to do it again. One of my ways I unplug is I watch a lot of like K-dramas and C-dramas these days. So like, and I go over to the service providers where I don't have ads, right? Where I have a subscription where I don't have ads and I could just watch that or whatever. And it has nothing to do with anything because it was pre-filmed, right? So you can go over to Netflix and watch a comfort show, right? You can head somewhere where you don't see the fed ads, like on YouTube, for example. Some of those ads are really traumatic on YouTube, I've got to say. Some of YouTube's ads are, especially like the ones that show you images from Gaza and stuff. I mean, it is absolutely tragic. And I really hate, I would love it if we could, if there could be more restriction on what ads can show, because it's pretty awful to be bombarded with that kind of stuff out of nowhere when you're just looking for cute animals, you know? But, you know, head to a server where you don't have that, where commercials maybe do have a little more filter to them, if there are commercials. And if there are not commercials, great. Watch that comfort show. Remember times in your life that were good and comfortable. And if you haven't had a lot of those moments, and it's hard to remember those moments, which I've been there, done that, create more, you know, like find something you just really enjoy doing that's calming, that's outside, and just go and do that thing more often. I love sitting under a tree and watching the leaves blow in the wind with the sun coming through them. That has always been super calming to me. I don't know. I also love running water, like creeks. You know, the sound of running water is really nice for me. So if you have access to something like that, you can go do that. You know, if there's a garden nearby, literally stop and smell the flowers. Literally, pause, take a nice whiff of that beautiful rose that's out there in that garden. Why not? Why not take the 10 seconds or less that it takes to smell the flower to help your day go better, right? There's no reason. That's not cringe. That's not silly. That's just you claiming time for yourself. It's okay, right? And I just want to remind everybody that. That in tough times, the biggest reminder I want everyone to remember that even though these are very tough times and very divisive times and very scary times, joy, comfort, compassion, rest, and connection with others are essential parts of human life. These are essentials. They are not fluffy, superfluous things. They are essentials. So please reclaim those essentials for yourself, even in the tiniest ways. You accumulate a ton of those tiny little bits throughout the day, things are going to start to feel a lot better. It will have a cumulative effect. The more you kind of snack on these little moments, the more the cumulative effect, the calming effect, and things start to feel less hopeless. That's how we build resiliency. That's how we build the ability to continue going. That's how we sustain our energy for fighting and for resisting. Okay? We have to remember the essentials of the human experience that allow us to restore our energy and to restore our sense of hope in the world. Okay? So I just wanted to remind everybody, it's okay to be confused. It's okay to unplug. It's okay to not have an opinion and to not want to engage in the rhetoric. That is fine. You take care of yourself, okay? And reach out to others, because community is also an important part of that. And maybe you guys can, watch a comfort show on Netflix together, text while you're watching or stream it together, like somebody on FaceTime or something. Maybe you can do that if you're long distance from the people you're closest to, right? Just something like that can help, okay? All right, so I mostly wanted to put this out here as a reminder to myself, but I thought if I'm spending a lot of energy trying to remind myself, that maybe it would be good for others to have that reminder. So I hope this helped. Head on over to ideas for mindfulness and for regulation if you need some more ideas, feel free. Drop ideas and comments for people to have. It would be lovely to have a little collection of tiny things, like 2-second moments of beauty or calm or rest or connection or hope, okay? Just like, let's make a collection of just few things that are super hopeful, okay? Or super calming, all right? Maybe that would be great. Maybe that would be a great way to go. All right. Everybody take a breath. Tough times pass. They do. They pass. And I know not everybody makes them through the tough times. I'm also aware of that. But our lives are tiny little blips on the whole span of history and time. So let's enjoy what we can, right? Okay. I hope that helped. Replay this if you need. All right, guys. Take care. Use your weirdness for good. Keep it weird if you need to. All right. Bye.